I think maybe if you just leave it on alone once.
I said once. And,
Just once?
It stopped the rotating.
Yeah, that's good. I think if we just put it like that, it'll move some air around. Okay. Om Bhagaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavatam Sorry. Let me try it again. Om Bhagaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavatam Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Graditam Purana Munina Madhye
Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashaധ്യാyinim Amba Tvamanusandadami Bhagavat Gite Bhavadveshani Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullaravindaya Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharatataila Purnaha Pratvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totravetraikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gitamritaduhe Namaha Sarvopanishado Gavaha Dogda Gopalanandanaha Parto Vatsasudhir Bhokta Dogdam Gidam Ritam Mahatu Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanoramadhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Bhishma Drona Tata Jayadratachala Gandhara Nilotala Shalyagrahati Kripena Vani Karnena Vedakula Ashvatthama Vikarna Gora Makara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirna Kalupandavairananadi Kaivartaka Keshava Arashaya Vachasarojamamalam Gita Gandhotkatam Nana-kyanaka-kesaram harikata sambodhana bodhitam Loke sajjana shatpadairaharaha Epiyamanam Buddha Bhuyad Bharata Pankajam Kalimala Pradvamsina Shreyase Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramanandamadhavam Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavai Vedai Sangha Padakramo Panishadai गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः श्रीभगवानुवाच अशोचानन्वशोचस्त्वम् प्रज्ञावादांश्च भाषसे गतासूनगतासूंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पण्डिताः न त्वेवाहं चातुनासं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपाः न चैव न विपश्यामः सर्वे भयन्तः परम् देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरः प्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति माता स्पर्शसुखं प्रेय शीतोष्णसुखदुःखदा आगमापायिनो नित्याः तां तितिक्षस्व भारत यं हि न व्यथयन्त्येते पुरुषं पुरुषर्षभ समदुःखसुखं धीरं सोऽमृतत्वाय कल्पते नासतो विद्यते भावः नाभावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः अविनाशि तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततं विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति अन्तवन्त इमे देहाः नित्यस्योक्ताः शरीरिणः अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्य तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत य एनं वेत्ति हन्तारम् यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ न विजानीतः नायं हन्ति न हन्यते न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे वेदाविनाशिनं नित्यं य एनमजमव्ययं कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ कं घातयति हन्तिकम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You can sit there or there. Oh, yeah, wherever he wants, but not there.
Whose eyes you were looking at, I knew not.
That's that being the point. So this lovely song and dance of a Bhashya, very interesting and totally preposterous. Purva Pakshas are raised, and this shows the extent of what's the word for it? The resistance to akartru atma, that the atma is not a karta. To even understand that or even to entertain that possibility, there is so much resistance, you don't know what to do. And so we just go along, with this. And then that one point you understood, correct? That a knower of the stone, who is the knower of a stone? A geologist. The geologist does not become akarta, even though the stone is akarta. Is the stone akarta or not?
Yes.
Hello, wake up. Yes or no? Yes. Don't think about it. Yeah. Stone is akarta. Doesn't do anything. Is it a bhokta?
No.
No. So stone is free of kartrutvam and bhoktrutvam. But the geologist who studies the stone, is that fellow free of kartrutvam and bhoktrutvam? So Atma is free of karta bhokta. So if I study the Atma, it's just like studying the stone.
No.
He says no. And we saw that yesterday. Adi Shankara says no. That's not the case, because in this case alone, it's not unlike the knowledge of the stone where the person doesn't become a stone. One can get stoned, but one cannot become stone. Correct? This is a big thing. And so one cannot become a stone just by studying, all about stones. But studying all about Atma being all, including the truth of this body, mind, sense complex, all responsibilities, fears, and the doership drops. Actions may not drop. The doership connected with that drops. This is what the charcha, this is the discussion that is going on. So that much we saw. Furthermore, he says, Yatha, and it's a very funny way how it drops. He talks about the way this doership drops. How does it drop? Listen. Yatha buddhyadi ahritatya shabdadi arthasya avikriyah eva san buddhi vritti aviveka vijnanena avidyaya upalabdha atma kalpyate. So if this is answering the silent question on the part of the unintelligent Purva Pakshi who is not intelligent enough to go here. If Atma is naturally the non-doer, why do I have to go backwards about it? I find myself a doer and then I have to drop the doership. If my nature is that of a non-doer, then why am I not born quietly without crying and kicking the hands and legs? Without doing, I should be born. Correct? Because I am a non-doer. In fact, I should not be born at all, but never mind. That's too far-fetched. All right, I am born. But who am I? Atma. What is this Atma? Avikriya. Of course, na jayate. It shouldn't even be born, but let us leave that aside. Already I am here, so I have to account for this somehow. All right, I am born. If I am born, then I should not make a single sound. I should be born quietly. I should not cry for milk. I should not cry for stomach ache. I should just be quiet and just be lying there. But that's not the case. So in other words, I'm going about it backward. Who am I? Atma. What is Atma? Not Vikriya, not subject to any modification starting with doership. All right, then why am I going about it in a circumambulating pradakshina way? What is the pradakshina way? The pradakshina way means roundabout way. Yeah. roundabout way. Instead of going directly, you go roundabout round the Robin barn. Robin's barn. This is some expression. And so you keep going round and then before getting to the point. So the point is, I am naturally akarta. That is my nature. Like the nature of fire is to be what? Hot. Correct? Heat and light are the nature of fire. It's not that the fire is born as ice and then it has to thaw out, after going to Guru. And then slowly the flames of heat and everything come out. Is that what is happening to the, is that what happens to the fire? Swabhavasya nanivritti. Swabhava is that if it is my own nature, then there should be no vyabhichara there. If Atma is akarta, first of all, it should not be born. That was the first travesty. And all right, fine, it was born, but why wasn't it born in a recognizable way? So that when I look at the book, I am also not doing anything. Here also it says I shouldn't be doing anything. Here there is a perfect match. Like if the fire were to read a book before it burns it, what will it see? Fire is equal to heat and light. It says, before it eats up the words, it sees that and feels very khush, feels very happy. But here, what has happened? The Atma, so to speak, this avikriyatvam, the no jayate, no vardhate, no mriyate, all these things which have been negated for the Atma, including karta, bhokta, everything has been negated, and this negation is needed, he says, because one has this ajnanam. Therefore, this roundabout. If this ajnanam was not there, correct, true enough, nobody would be born. But because this ajnanam is there, what is happening? Birth has taken place. And along with birth comes the brood of everything we talked about earlier this morning. What all did we talk about? Kama, karma, etc. Yeah. There's no one on this. Is that okay? Yeah. All right. We just namaha. So then what happens is this, holiday, that's all. And now, this is the problem. The problem is that a entity called avidya, as though has come and colonized this Atma. We saw how it has tied up the buddhi and put it in one corner and tied up Bhagavan and along with the buddhi and put them and, without bread and water, put them in a corner. We saw that. And so this avidya, colonized mind, is the one that is the problem, he says. And he says, just as this so-called Atma, what is this Atma? The Atma is that which is equipped with the buddhi, equipped with the vrittis and equipped with the knower-known division, because it's able to see I am the knower, this is the know subject-object division, and it is equipped with indriyas. What are these indriyas? The grasping power of the senses, it's equipped with the indriyas, and also because it is so equipped with all these things, quietly it's also equipped with ajnanam, which furthers all these equipage. And then what happens? Therefore we say the Atma, as it were, has become one. With the whole? No, with avidya. There is a kind of a tadatmyam, identification with not knowing. And therefore the Atma, being everything and being unopposed to anything, does not come in the way of what? Of even this Atma being mistaken for karta bhokta. It just sits quietly. It's whole enough and it is not acting. So it is not coming in the way of saying, oh, you are always mistaking me. I try so hard and I try so hard to live up to my nature. Nobody notices. Everybody mistakes me. Not a single person knows Atma except a few people in caves. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. It goes along with it, like even the sun shines on top of a group of people who are planning to rob the bank. It shines just as it's shining on us here studying the Gita. In another corner, let us say, a bunch of fellows are having dussang. This is satsang. Dussangaha means Wrong association. Bad satsang is called dussang. So dussangaha they are having, and they are plotting how to dig a tunnel, how to start digging tonight itself, and then they are apportioning the division of labor. You dig, you do this, you do that, and then they are going to, collect the money and use it for a worthy cause, that is their own lives. And so this is so that they can retire early, from such nefarious activities, or at least that is the idea. So this is where is the sun is not going to say, I'm going to withdraw shining on those baddies over there, and these are the goodies. So over the satsangis I will shine, and over the dussangis I will not shine. No. In fact, the shining of the sun, is it an action? No, it's not an action, it's its nature. So the Atma just shines the light even on the one who says, oh, I'm ignorant, I don't know I'm Karta, I don't know I'm Bhokta, I have to study now. Atma says tathastu. And on the other one who says, I am Karta, I am Bhokta, and I don't have to study to find that out. I already know I'm Karta, Bhokta. Gita is wrong. Atma says Namaha. That's all. Just like the sun. So it is incumbent upon the person who says, what is this doing all the time? And it's incumbent upon that person to do something about the avidya. And the avidya is removed in an ingenious way, because it's not really that knowledge of akartritvam is drilled through the brain, by drilling a hole and the knowledge being poured in. Like even in the clay mold, liquid brass is poured in to make the devatas or any kind of a thing. You can see this in a place called Swami Malai in the south. You can see this, how they molten, brass, they pour into this earthen mold and just keep it there to cool. Inside is the mold of a devata made of clay and put together with a little hole on top, and that is also sealed later on. And then the mold is broken, and then it's all dusted and then polished. This is what it is. That's why when sometimes the brass deities come, they all have a lot of, fine dust in the crevices, because it's that mold surrounding them. This is what it is. And so therefore, it is not like, the molten knowledge of akartritvam is being poured into this clay jiva with clay feet. So it's not that it's being poured. What is happening then? What is happening, in fact, is that the very fact, knowledge of non-doership means what? That something is being negated. Doership is being negated. That itself is vidya. So it's not that non-doership is being poured into the mold called the jiva's head, but doership, the feeling that I am the doer, the identity with a false limited entity called the doer, the one who took birth, the one who is subject to 6 vikaras, that is being negated. How is it being negated? Through a little birdie. What is the little birdie? Vritti birdie. Yes, this birdie is a little thought form called vritti, a mental frame. And this mental frame is the messenger. You are the whole. The teacher says, you are not the doer. You are therefore not guilty, nor hurty, nor a guilty-hurty combo. You are free of guilt, hurt. You are free of doing. You are free of reaping the phala, the fruits of those so-called doings. You have no karma. You are whole. You are free. And something happens. What happens? A vritti is born. Knowledge is not born. Knowledge just is. It is you. But what is the separating factor between you and the knowledge? Vritti, that ajnanam. So this is ajnana nivartaka vritti. A vritti that dispels ajnanam is born on hearing these, because this is the truth. And when you hear the truth, there is an agreement at a very deep level. At the level of the swabhava, at the level of one's own nature, there is an agreement. Even if you go to the most argumentative person in the world and say you are the whole, What will that person say? I disagree. They will stop disagreeing. This is something that silences all arguers, all arguments, because this is based on the universal fact that everyone wants this. Every single person wants this. There is not an exception, because this is the universal seeking. Therefore, what? Therefore, this being the case, the vritti is a little janitor vritti. It sweeps up. It brings all the cleansers and sweeps up. The words of the Mahavakya are with the towel, cleaning towels that wipe off the ajnana. Because the Mahavakya resonates with the truth of the I, which is self-revealing. The I is self-revealing. And the Mahavakya and the I match up and glom on. And the vritti is just the index. It just wipes everything off and then it dies away. It's not needed anymore because it has shown the clean surface of the non-doer to the one who is really the non-doer. This is how this so-called convoluted way is necessary, because out of avidya, the so-called free Atma, the Atma, so as it were, associates itself with what? With karta, bhokta, jayate, mriyate, indriya sanghata, all these group of what is that? The group of indriyas, etc. The sense organs, mind, it gets associated with, and this is the reason this dismissal is needed, and this is how it is repatriated back to the avikriya Atma, and the one who is repatriated with that Atma, which is what? With that Atma which is not the karta, not the bhokta, is called Vidvan. Vidvan iti uchyate. Vidushah कर्म असंभव वचनात् यानि कर्माणि शास्त्रेण विधीयन्ते तानि अविदुषः विहितानि इति भगवतः निश्चयः अवगम्यते. Furthermore, that which is being denied, those actions which have been denied for the jnani, for the knower of the Atma. Why? Because the person knows that I am a karta. The person does not really need to do karma. The person does not engage in action for the sake of gaining something, and therefore, Bhagavatah means on part of Bhagavan. Bhagavan's nishchaya, Bhagavan's ascertainment, determination is there that all the karmas that are there in the first portion of the Veda are for whom? Jnanis or Ajnanis? Ajnanis, not for Jnanis. This riles up the feathers of the PP, Purva Pakshi. Purva Pakshi is not happy with this. What do you mean? You have nicely, conveniently, let us understand the Purva Paksha even before we read it. You have nicely, conveniently made into Kutadvayam, two kinds of kutas. Kutas are categories, and two kutas, categories. You have made two categories based on your own criteria. You are lazy and you don't want to go to office. So you are calling yourself a jnani. That's a very easy way to not go to office. Just say, I am a jnani. I don't have to do anything. In fact, what are you bringing me for lunch? You have to feed me because I am a jnani. I am not going to office. Neither I am going to stand in line and collect my paycheck. Nor am I going to do all these things. You have to in fact take care of me because I am not going to work. You have nicely made a nice niche for yourself so that you can live off the rest of the society. Caught you. This is wrong. And what is the niche you have made for yourself? You have said that jnanis are exempt from going to office and doing all other mundane things. Whereas the ajnanis have to slog 9 to 5, 24/7, 365 days and then do what? Feed these so-called jnanis? Objection, Your Honor. This is the second argument. Let us read. It says, Nanu, this is not itiche. This fellow is called what? Nanu. And what does Nanu say? Nanu, vidya api अविदुषः एव विधीयते विदितविद्यस्य पिष्टपेषणवत् विधान आनर्थक्यात् तत्र अविदुषः कर्माणि विधीयन्ते न विदुषः इति विशेषः न उपपद्यते. नोपपद्यते means not tenable. What is not tenable? Tatra, in this context, the ajnani, the one who doesn't know, has to do all the work in the, light the fire, sit in front of the smoke, have tears, have fears, have all the eyes, and the jnani is just sitting there in his room and sleeping late because udite juhoti, correct? Agnihotra has to wake up early and do it, and this is a nice try. You call yourself a jnani and you can sleep in every morning because you don't have to do abhisheka, you don't have to do puja, you don't have to do, put the ghee, and in winter sit and melt the ghee. I don't know how they'll melt it, because you're not allowed to cook it or heat it. We do that all the time. Maybe they sit on top of it, I don't know. But, or they hug it, hold the pot close to their bodies so that out of the body heat it melts. So you're not allowed to cook it. It is uncooked ghee, but it is melted. So this is what, so here I am dying and doing all this work. And what are you doing? Sleeping in late, calling yourself a jnani and exempt from all the things. This is like this so-called minority status in India, which is a joke. Okay? Yeah. Minority means you can do anything you want. Anything at all you can do. Why? I am a minority. You can do whatever you want. And then, the so-called majority, it's the only country perhaps where the so-called majority is oppressed. Yeah, usually minorities feel oppressed. Here the minorities are given there is so much appeasement, appeasement that the majority as though feels suffocated. So this is exactly like your, distinction. First you make a distinction and you drag in Bhagavan. Poor unsuspecting Bhagavan, you say Bhagavata ordained, this is, ordained by Bhagavan, that, and you, poor Bhagavan who was just sitting in Vaikuntha, you dragged him here into the thing. Don't bring Bhagavan in it. If you don't want to go to office, you say I don't want to go to office. Don't bring poor Bhagavan in it. Justify it in the name of Bhagavan and put words in his mouth. He is not even opening his mouth, and you are stuffing all the words and the interpretation. Like grape leaves, you are stuffing his mouth. And then what? And saying Bhagavan said this. And then why? All to justify your sleeping in late, you're not doing puja, you're not doing yajna. You lazy idiot. And then you're calling that, and not only that, alright, you justified for yourself, you called yourself a jnani, alright, theek hai. But why call us, who are doing karma nicely, who are doing what we are supposed to do, and feeding the likes of you, you're calling us ajnanis. And you have the temerity to call us ajnani. How dare you? What have you earned so far? Show. This is the argument. And then, furthermore, then what for does this verse exist? You say it is true. This is ajnana nivartakam jnanam. Now he is in honeyed dulcet tones. So now, what is the use of this mantra? Which mantra? Veda vinashinam nityam. The one that is under prakritam. The one that is being studied. Who is this for? This is for the jnani or the ajnani? Huh? Tell me, I'm asking. This is for the ajnani, of course, because if you say it is for the jnani, I'm going to come after you with a big stick. How dare you say this is for the jnani? How can this be for the jnani? The jnani who already knows I am karta, when they read this verse that Atma is not subject to kartritvam, Atma is not subject to, being a experiencer, being subject to birth, death, what is going to happen to them? Nothing, because they already know. So who is this for? Ajnanis. There goes your distinction, mister. You want to keep the Ajnanis with the nose to the grindstone, and you call yourself the Jnani, and you say there are two Kotidvayam, there are two groups, and I belong to this elitist group of Jnanis, and you over there stuck in the first portion of the Veda like a bull to the oil press. They tie a big stone to the neck of the bull, and the other side, there's a short rope and the bull, and this stone is actually, each time the bull revolves around this pole, this pole, it goes to a mortar and pestle and crushes the sesame, peanut, all these nuts to make oil, nuts and seeds. And the poor bull, it stretches this way, cannot go farther. If it stretches this way, then it has to think of chiropractor because it's tremendous pain. And if it goes too much this way, then that thing makes it wobble and fall. In order to hold its balance, it has to, the only way it can go is round and round. This is how it is. So you have made this convenient distinction so that we Ajnanis, first you make two groups, you put yourself in the nice group, in the elite group that lives off the other group. Yeah, this is a Marxian interpretation of this verse. So you make an elitist group, and you belong to this group which is feeding off the other group, and then as though that is not a lousy state of affairs, on top of that you tell yourself that we are Jnanis and you are the bull that is tied to the Agnihotra wheel. You have to keep reproducing the karma. Then I ask you, who is this verse for? Is it for Jnanis or Ajnanis? Now I caught you. Who is it for? You yourself said it is for Ajnanis, because if the Jnani reads this, it is Pishta Peshanavat. Pishta means already ground, yeah. So nowadays you get all these nice things called, what is that? Almond powder, cashew powder, so many things. And then if you take this cashew powder and put it in the blender and then make a powder out of that, is that of any use? No, already what is it? Cashew powder. Then cashew powder, if you make powder out of cashew powder, what is the use? Only ayasa matra, only effort is the use. There is no use, because it is already powdered. So if the Jnani reads this, it is like making cashew powder out of cashew powder. Pishta Peshanavat. Yeah. Meaning this is of no use. It is redundant for the Jnani. It is non-redundant for the Ajnani. Correct? So that means the Ajnani has to read this Bhagavad Gita. Ajnani has to study. Correct? Right? Mm-hmm. Let's not even ask the question, how is he going to study, poor fellow, if you have him doing Agnihotra every single day and night, and then meditating and doing all this and cooking, cleaning. How is he going to study? Let's not even go there. Let's ask another question instead. Let us just go to the basics. Let us not get personal about it. I'm not demanding time to study. I don't even like this verse. You are welcome to this. I'm just going to raise the basic point and shoot down your distinction between Jnani and Ajnani, and the Jnani as being bereft of karma, and the Ajnani having to do all the karma, and the Jnani is being shown that such a person is bereft of the karma. And so therefore there goes your distinction that Jnanis have a certain track of what to do, what not to do, mostly what not to do, and Ajnanis have a track of not to do, what to do. And the to-dos and the to-don'ts, do not this big to-do that you made about these two distinctions, this Kotidvayam, this distinction is invalid. Yeah, forget all other points. This distinction is invalid because the Gita is not for the Jnani. Correct? The Gita is for the Ajnani. Gita is not for the Jnani. If the Jnani is made to just sit and read the Gita, then it is Pishta Peshanavat, which is like making cashew powder out of cashew powder. Yeah, it's like making a chapati, tearing up the chapati and mixing that torn chapati with some water and kneading it out and cooking it again. Who will do that except a fool? This is what it is. So your distinction is foolish. You have gone out of the way to establish a distinction. Bring poor Bhagavan into the picture as a witness and say that Bhagavan is saying that there are two tracks and one track is for the Jnanis and the other one for the Ajnanis, and the Ajnanis are enjoined to do the karma, all actions. Jnanis are exempt from karma. This distinction is gone, wrong. What are you going to do now? And the Purva Pakshi does a little dance. Because the Purva Pakshi has won. Yes. The Purva Pakshi is doing a little jig. The Siddhantin gathers himself quickly and says, Na anushteyasya bhava abhava vishesha upapattehe agnihotradi vidhi artha jnana uttarakalam agnihotradi karma aneka sadhana upasamhara purvakam अनुष्ठेयं कर्ता अहं मम कर्तव्यम् इति एवं प्रकार विज्ञानवतः अविदुषः यथा अनुष्ठेयं भवति न तु तथा न जायते इति आत्मस्वरूप विध्यर्थ ज्ञानोत्तरकाल भावी किंचित अनुष्ठेयं भवति. Short answer, you are wrong. No. Not. And the reasons given are very beautiful. See, we almost now believed it, correct? Yeah. We say, yeah, no, this is correct. This is how this is how the Purva Pakshi has to be, understood. You have to start believing it. And then the Siddhanta is explained. And then you have to no longer believe it. Yeah. Then you have to come out of it. Now it is okay. Now, it is now nice to sit in the gallery and see how is the Siddhantin going to dig himself herself out of this tricky situation. To hear the distinction itself is invalid between what? Jnani and Ajnani. And then for the Jnani there is nothing to do, is exempt from everything, and the Ajnani, poor fellow, has to be grinding, hewing the wood and drawing the water and doing everything in between. So this distinction is shot down. He says, no, not really. I'll tell you why. Because, there is a difference. When the same Agnihotra, you are so fond of Agnihotra, let us take Agnihotra. You really are jealous that I am sleeping in and I am not doing this. Let us take Agnihotra. So if a Jnani does Agnihotra, and in the way the Ajnani does Agnihotra, do you think there is no difference? There is a big difference. In the way the Ajnani does Agnihotra, it will be a stress Nihotra. It will be full of stress. Why? Oh, I didn't wake up early enough. Oh, Indra will be mad, Chandra will be mad, Agni will be mad, and all these karmas will come to me. Who is thinking this, Jnani or Ajnani? Quick. Ajnani. Yeah, it's not Agnihotra, it is stress hotra, full, and idam maya kartavyam, idam mama kartavyam, this is my duty. If I don't do this, horrible karma will befall me, and if horrible karma befalls me, what will happen to me? What will happen to the husband and the children, or the wife and the children? Thinking like this, one is stuck, velcroed to the karma out of a sense of fear and desire for the here or hereafter in relation to the here or hereafter. Furthermore, the Ajnani, when they miss a step or something goes wrong, there is the feeling of guilt. Oh, I tried my best, and even when I tried my best, I couldn't do it, I made a mistake. Now I have to start from brick number 1. Brick number 92 had a crack. So I have to start from brick number 1. So saying, there is lamentation, there is a sense of ownership of that duty. In relation to the duty, there is an identity with that duty. I am the doer. That identity is there. Furthermore, the duty is done for the sake of gaining something in response to that duty. In other words, karma phala, result of action. Furthermore, there is a desire to control the result of action. Mostly let it be positive and let the negatives go. This is the desire. That also is not there in the Jnani. In the Jnani, if the Jnani were asked to do Agnihotra, the Jnani would, leisurely do it and then just Do it for the joy of doing it. Do it freely and do it without expecting any results, or even if the expectation of the results were there, it would be for the good of the society rather than for himself or herself. This is how the jnani, if the jnani were enjoined or made to do a yajna, this is how they would do. So therefore this distinction is valid, because in the avidushaha, as long as this feeling I am, this is my duty and I am the one to do it and only me, and also this in this only me there is both guilt and hurt. Hurt comes from like other people raining on the yajna. In the olden times these asuras were meant for this only. Yeah. Asuras were for hire. Who are asuras? Yeah, comely demons who were previously bhaktas, now turned asuras. They are for hire. Mostly they are in the informal and under the table pay of Indra, because he gets very nervous when anyone sits and does a lot of agnihotras and lot of yajnas. Why? Because how did he become Indra? By doing 100 yajnas perfectly. So if anyone starts to have double-digit yajna record, anything, even 11, he starts to feel puk-puk, chicken-hearted, nervous. And Shachi, the wife, has to keep giving him Pepto-Bismol because he's not sleeping at night, because he's having acidity, heartburn, because he's looking at this particular jiva who is doing yajnas very nicely. Says time has come to rain on the yajna. And he phones up Varuna. Who is Varuna? Yes, rain Bhagavan. So, Bhagavan in relation to the rain. Hey Varun, how are you? A little damp today, how are you? I'm okay, but this fellow is creating problems. Do you think you can rain there? Oh, let me see my schedule where I'm supposed to go. Oh, but that fellow is doing this yajna in Rajasthan. It's not supposed to rain there. No, please, do me a favor. I owe you one. Go there. All right, if you want me to. Take my Vajra and go. Make a lot of noise and go. It'll be quicker. All right, no problem. I'll go there. And another time, he calls Varuna. Varuna has already left. Mrs. Varuna says, he's already left, not at home. And he's gone very far. He's gone to the monsoon, which is already late in India. So he's very far. He cannot come here right now. Oh, okay. So then he calls these asuras that are paid a small retainer under the table. 4 or 5 fellows are there. You just go and drop a dead crow wing. Crow wing is very inauspicious. Bat wing, crow wing, crow feather, all these things. Crows are auspicious, but their body parts are not. Crows means they symbolize ancestors, and they also symbolize if a crow comes and crows in front of your house, that means a guest is coming. Yeah, quick, hide the chocolate cake. No, so that is a way to say that the guest is coming. This is a shakuna. It is a certain omen. But the crow tail, crow wings, crow foot, dead crow feet, crow feathers, very unsavory. Even the thought of it doesn't make the heart glad. So these asuras, each one is equipped with crow wing, crow foot, crow feather, crow beak, and asked to just walk by the yajna and drop it in. What happens? Dushitam. Yeah. Agnikundam. So the whole thing has become polluted, impure. So immediately it has to be stopped. Then everyone, all the people who are doing it have to go take a bath. They have to sit in contemplation why this happened, and then they have to erect a new thing, make new bricks and start all over again. Until then, Indra and Shachi can go on a holiday and catch up on some lost sleep and then come back. You see? So this is how it is. So when these asuras or anything happens, when the crow's wing drops in the yajna, what will the avidwan say? Avidwan means not ajnani. What will the ajnani say? Why me? Why my yajna only is all the time being obstructed? Why gods are against me? Why can't I just have this? Why can't I do this? All I'm trying to do is get rich. How come the neighbors, Yajna, nobody is dropping anything? Do you see this? Whereas if a jnani is doing this and a crow drops or crow's wing, whatever drops in, simply just walk away. Okay, it's not meant to be right now. Namaha. Correct? So do you see that there is a difference? Do you see that the categorization, this aforementioned categorization, let us not forget what that is. What is that categorization? Between these two tracks. What is the track? That for the ajnani alone karma is enjoined, not for the jnani. Do you see that this is correct?
Yes.
Yes. The other one you were more convinced. I don't know what to think. So hopefully this will become very clear. So this is what is said. So this is not Purva Paksha, okay? Hello? Huh?
Yes.
Okay. They show some signs of life. Yeah. So then what happens? Here, this is what it is. So bhava abhava vishesha upapattehe. Vishesha bhava and vishesha abhava. Abhava of what? Karta. Kartru notion. The notion I am the doer. Bhava, existence of karta. The karta is very much there. Karma is there. Karta is there. And so therefore, when the ajnani is told najayate, etc., this najayate, namriyate, vapi, the previous verse, the ajnani will look at you how? Blankly. Yeah, will not understand anything. So therefore, this is the difference. Furthermore, किंतु ना हम कर्ता न भोक्ता इत्यादि आत्म एकत्व अकर्तृत्वादि विषय ज्ञानात् अन्यत् न उत्पद्यते इति एषः विशेषः उपपद्यते. So this visheshah vibhagah, this distinction between the ajnanis being told to do all the things, from raising a family, secular actions, to what is that? To religious actions such as what? Agnihotra, etc. All the actions are for the people who are enjoined, and there is a iti kartavyata. This is what has to be done. For whom? For the people who don't understand that they are and who cannot even entertain the possibility. Even if you don't understand, you have to be able to entertain the possibilities. Later on it will be told, even if you don't entertain the possibility that the Atma is akarta, for such people who don't entertain the possibility, action is enjoined. For the jnani and even for the mumukshu, action becomes optional. Yeah. Because one is getting ready. Even in the case of the mumukshu, he's going to say, he very generously includes the mumukshu also in this. And he's going to say that even the mumukshu is free to give. The more you start attending the classes and exposing yourself to the teaching, the less you have to be doing, in fact. The less you will be motivated to do. This is not apathy. This is the growing clarity in relation to your own nature as not subject to karma, not subject to kartrutvam. And Adi Shankara says, furthermore, kintu, I am not the karta, I am not the bhokta. How is this understood? It is understood only through the knowledge of the Atma, Guru Mukhat, through the Upanishad, through the Bhagavad Gita, through the teacher. Anyat na upapadyate. In no other way this is understood. So therefore the jnani and the ajnani, this vibhaga, this distinction is valid indeed. And one more point, I am not done yet, he says, Yaf punaha kartaham iti vetti atmanam tasya mama idam kartavyam iti avashyam bhavini buddhi syat. Yeah, tad apekshaya saha adhikriyate iti tam prati karmani. And then such a avidvan ubhau tau na vijanitah iti vachanat विशेषितस्य च तु विदुषः कर्म अपेक्षवचनात् कथं स पुरुषः इति. Furthermore, he says, you said I was accusing Bhagavan and bringing Bhagavan simply in and, stuffing words in his mouth. I'm not stuffing words in his mouth. Read the verse. Ubhau tau na vijanitah nayam hanti na hanyate. And then here, what was the other one? Veda avinashinam nityam yaenam ajam avyayam katham sapurushav partha kam ghatayati hantikam. Here is where the distinction is. Ubhau tau na vijanitah is the ajnani. Those two don't know. The one who thinks the Atma is the killer and the one who thinks of the Atma as the killed. As subject to hurt and guilt. As subject to karta and karma. As the subject and the object of action. They don't know. Who are these who don't know? Ajnanis. And then Veda avinashinam nityam kam ghatayati katham hanti. Who is this kam katham? Jnani. The one who will never hurt, the one who is incapable of doing anything wrong, in fact, who is incapable of doing anything that doership is gone, incapable of acting on behalf of their own self with the attachment to the identity, I am the actor, iti, that identification is not there. So these two distinctions furthermore have been given by Bhagavan alone. And it is a well-known fact that without exposure to this knowledge, nothing will be understood. One will continue as the Ajnani alone. And then one more point was there. So there is the one who thinks, I am Karta. There is a feeling, I have to do this. My life depends on it. The one who thinks of himself, herself as the Karta, then the person becomes duty bound. And then from that standpoint of duty bindedness or duty bindedness, boundness, however you want to say. From that standpoint of being bound to the duty, does all the karma like the bull carrying the oil press. Whereas this is absent in the Jnani. This is what is said. Tasmat, therefore, Visheshitasya avikriya atmadarshinaha vidushaha mumukshoho cha sarva karma sannyase eva adhikaraha. So for the Jnani, and now he is including the mumukshus as well. Who is the mumukshu? The desirer of this knowledge. So Jnani, not a Jnani, but a Jnani in the making. Not just a general roadside mumukshu, but a jignasu. When he says mumukshu, he means jignasu. Not a roadside mumukshu means what? Everybody is a mumukshu. Even the one on the road is a mumukshu. Which road? Road of prayers. Mumukshu. And the one in the mall is a mumukshu. In order to seek freedom, goes to the mall. The one who wants to go to the movies all the time. What do the person say? I want to escape. I want to escape. I want to be free. I want to forget about this life. Mumukshu. But Adi Shankara is not counting them. They are still enjoined to do all the work and all the action. But the mumukshu here is the one who has discovered that there is something lacking and something is wrong, and this wantingness seems to be, haunting me. I'm haunted by this wantingness. I want to get rid of this wantingness, and something is wrong because something is lacking in my thinking. I'm not thinking properly because the more I do, the more I'm entangled. So I need to really sit back and seek a teacher and drop this and see what this all is about and drop this avidya. This is the mumukshu. So whether you are a jnani or a mumukshu, what happens to you in that case? Now everyone is happy because we are just not talking of jnanis. Everyone feels included. Thanks to Adi Shankara. So sutaram tasmat therefore visheshitasya. So the one who is Visheshitasya adhikarah. The one who is qualified to know the I, the Atma, as free of all doings and totally renounced from all actions, free of all actions, free of actorship, free of experiencership, free of every ship. This is the mumukshu, and for such people and the vidushaha, for the jnani and the mumukshu, there is nothing to be done, really. And they are only fit for sannyasa. What sannyasa? Sarva karma sannyasa. What is sannyasa here? Sarva karma sannyasa. Yeah. They are fit to only have this knowledge. They are fit to give up everything else. Sannyasa here means giving up. They are fit to give up all actions. Once you say, I'm committed to the knowledge, you also come under the rubric of the jnani. Whether you are a jnani or jnani wannabe, it's all the same, because you are on that same trajectory of giving up action. There's no other way you can become a jnani while acting out, and being a jnani, acting in, acting out, not compatible with this knowledge. You have to really, what is that? He's going to tell later. You have to change. One has to really look and change the attitude with which the actions are performed. It's not so much about dropping of the actions, but dropping of the feeling that they are enjoined, and dropping of the identity with the actions, and dropping of the micromanagement of the actions. This is what has to be dropped, and this is what is told here. This is the only thing these two are good for. Ataha, and he brings in Bhagavan again. Ataha Bhagavan Narayanah Sankhyan Vidushaha Avidushascha Karmani Pravibhajya Dve Nishthe Grahayati Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam iti Tathacha Putraya. Okay, that we'll do later. So he gives the Shruti and the Smriti quote. Very nice. This is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, Bhagavan, who is this Bhagavan? Narayana, Narasya Ayanam, the goal of the human being. Who is that? Krishna. Here, the teacher of the Bhagavad Gita. And what is Krishna saying? Bhagavan Krishna is going to say in the very next chapter that I have devised two paths. Yeah, not sociopath, psychopath, but two paths. What is the two paths? One track is for the jnanis and the jnani wannabes and wannabinis, and then what? And the other one is for the people who are not able to give up actions, so that they can continue being engaged in actions, and dropping slowly the actor inside of themselves. Dropping the identification with the action can happen slowly. Whereas in the first one, the jnanis and the committed lifestyle of people who want this knowledge, this drastic giving up of everything is what is enjoined. This is what is enjoyed by Bhagavan himself. And don't tell me not to bring in Bhagavan. What is this Bhagavad Gita about? It should be called, just Gita. Why is it called Bhagavad Gita? This is the words of the Lord. Music-like, because they are musical, they are wonderful to hear. So don't tell me not to bring Bhagavan in. Who is talking? Hello, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. How do I not bring Bhagavan in? And later on, Sri Bhagavan eva Bhakshyati. Bhagavan will Uvacha later. Yes, he will say. Bhakshyati will say later. This is the only thing that is being said. So don't tell me not to bring Bhagavan in. Very nicely, with wonderful brush strokes, Adi Shankara's calligraphy hides his Purva Pakshi. Doesn't make him go away, however, unfortunately for us. But we have a little respite. So he gives one Shruti, the example from the Bhagavad Gita, and he also gives the example from the Mahabharata. In the Mahabharata, Bhagavan Vyasa is telling Shuka, Swaputraya, Shukaya, Aha. What did he say? Dvavimau. Where is that? Oh, second one. Dvavimau atha panthanau, he said. Dva vimau atha panthanau, Vyasa said to Shukha. Only problem is Shuka, before he heard as soon as he heard Dva vimau, even before he heard panthanau, he got up and left. Yeah, because he was ready to leave. He didn't even hear which those panthas were. Correct? Yeah. So even Bhagavan Vyasa, who wrote the Bhagavad Gita, not only Bhagavan Narayana who spoke, but Bhagavan Vyasa who has written the words of Bhagavan, also prescribed these twofold paths. To Dva Vimau Panthanau, these are the two paths. And what are they? Kriya Pathascha Eva Purastat Paschat Sanyasascha Iti. And he was trying to advise his son, first Kriya Patha, first you go on the path of duty, and Paschat, later on take sannyasa. But by that time the boy had run away, and so the boy was an extreme sannyasi, and he just said, what is the point, and he later is purported to have said, what did he say? He said, as he was lying there with his feeding bottle or whatever, some toy that they had given him as he was a baby. I've forgotten if it's Shuka or Ashtavakra, one of them. Anyway, as they were lying, I think it was Shuka, as he was lying there, 6-month-old baby batting a toy in his crib, he just understood the futility of this whole thing. Stopped batting the toy, waited to gather strength, drank his milk quietly, waited to gather strength to get up and walk away. Until then, he just waited. And then the father advised him. Father knew of his drastic tendencies, and the father was advising him, Purastat Kriya Patha Cha Paschat Sanyasaha Iti. And he was already gone. 5 years old, he left the house. Bye, Dad. And the father said, how am I going to live? Well, it's not my problem, Dad. It's your problem. But you know what? Whenever you think of me, I'm here because I'm not separate from you. I'm you. So this is what Bhagavan Vyasa also said. And Adi Shankara says that even Bhagavan Krishna said that. And then furthermore, in the Bhagavad Gita itself, these things will be said. Etam eva vibhagaha, not just once, but punaha darshayishyati Bhagavan. Not only being happy with, talking about it once, overtly, it is going to be shown repeatedly in sentences that are going to come later, such as Atattva vittu mahabaho ahankara vimodhatma karta ahamiti manyate tattva vittu mahabaho, na ahankaromi navadvare pure dehi sarva karmani manasa sanyasaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvan nakaryan. So all these, we will encounter them later. We don't have to worry about them now. However, one of them we are not exempt. We have to see it right now, meaning tomorrow, on Tuesday. What is that? Sarva karmani manasa, that particular verse. Sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvan nakarayan. So this is a very nice, verse which says that mentally giving up all the attachment to the identity, I am the actor, to the identification of the actor, all the works are given up. Everything is abandoned. And then this Atma sitting in a ship which has 9 portholes, which is this citadel, the body fortress. Sukham aste, remains happily after giving up the doership, continues to inhabit this body but without a complex. Yeah, this is what is told. And and the Purva Pakshi catches hold of this. Yeah, it's like a child. You say you want candy or popcorn, and the 2-year will say popcorn, and then you switch. You want popcorn or candy? Candy. This is how it is. So the last thing that was said, the Purva Pakshi catches on to it. That's why we have to remember that one. Okay? So because that one is referred to, remembered by, and referred to by the Purva Pakshi also. Yeah, and then a few other things are coming up. and very interesting things. It ends on a very interesting note. Later on, we will see. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Wow. Good. Kimetat, yeah, that all please put it there. Yeah, give it to Janani.